Hello, folks. Welcome to your Sunday Talking Town. It's 1:30. Unfortunately, the Gov, Rich, has failed to make the starting lineup. So it's just me and you again.
He's like the Brandon Williams of Talking Town.
The Lee Evans of Talking Town.
He'll be back in 10 to 14 days.
It's nice to see you've made it back as well, because when we last spoke, you were circa 150 miles away from home. What time
and the rest,
did you actually get home?
the rest. I got home about 11:45 last night.
Oh, wow. Again, the town fans travelling in great numbers. What was it, over 3,000 in that end?
Yeah, over 3,500. Had a brilliant weekend. Brilliant weekend. Went up Friday night.
Castle Baylis.
Into Oldham, yes. Stayed at Leeds. So fish and chips from the local chippy.
Lovely.
Watched the Bristol City Leeds game. Alba Bristol City, by the way, Matt. Terrible.
Yeah, they were.
Hoping for a hand, weren't we, from Liam Manning? Obviously, ex-town. Didn't happen, and then woke up yesterday. Went to Lee. I think there's a cafe Lee goes to in Oldham. Bloody hell! A breakfast died.
You sent me the photo, didn't you? I wouldn't have eaten again till next Friday, most likely.
Gov was on board because there was black pudding on the plate, and there was also spam.
Is that a staple of northern?
Well, obviously,
English life?
But it was a really good. It was a really good. It was like a cafe, but off the cafe, in the other side of the room, they sold cakes, pies, literally everything. It was brilliant.
Butter pies.
And then we made our way to Chorley FC, because town fans were invited there into the. They got their suite there, and they've got like a big wall of all Paul Mariner stuff, because obviously that's where he started.
Paul Mariner bar.
Yeah, we got shown around by a guy, and I was speaking to him about, where he said the worst place they go. They were all off to Warrington. There was a load in the clubhouse. Yeah. They were all going to Warrington away. They lost 2-1, unfortunately. The worst away day they have is Kings Lynn. Oh, it's dreadful up that way. Yeah, I said, we know what they're like up that way, the old Fen. And then yeah, but I was looking at that table, and it's like I said to you last night. There's some teams who really should be in the south, but obviously they can't get in there because there's too many teams. I mean, that's where Needham Market will end up if they get promoted. Yeah. They said that they're obviously. I think their second favourite club is Lowestoft, because obviously they were in the league with them. They made friends with them when they went down there, had a weekend. But they had a raffle. I'm not sure the lady's name, but one of the Chorley players' wives is ill. She's got breast cancer. Obviously, they had a raffle for her, raised 400 quid, the town fans did. Brilliant. Lovely little setup. I don't know if anyone remembers, Chorley made the FA Cup. They were on the TV. I think it might have been during COVID, Matt.
Okay.
They beat Wigan away. They beat Wigan 3-2 at the DW. And then they played Wolves. I don't know if anyone remembers, the groundsman covered the pitch because it was frosty, and he slept under the covers. I don't know if you remember that. He slept over it, and then he got nicked by Andy Holt. He's at Accrington, and then apparently the groundsman who was there now, he's got a job and he's going off to Australia. And I probably thought, because we were out there, it was quite windy. See, Ian Davis was there. Shout out Ian. Yeah. He said he'd played there in his younger days, and it wasn't that cold yesterday, but I can imagine Chorley on a night in about November.
Bit lively. Yeah. Bit chilly.
Chilly.
They had 2 Mariner shirts up on the wall. England one.
England one, and the UEFA Cup one was in there. Loads of pictures when he was obviously, because he went to Plymouth, didn't he? To start with, I think £20,000 that he went to Plymouth, and then he obviously went to town, £250. I'm getting Colin. I didn't know they were doing them. I would have got them on the day. They do the pin badges, and I see it on their Twitter feed. And I said to a guy, they'd all left to go to Warren. He said, "Oh, he's just left." So a little Chorley pin badge for Colin. I'm going to get 2, one for me and one in his Chorley kit. So, look, brilliant setup. And the guy said, "You're welcome next season, obviously, when you play Bolton." I said, "Well, next season, hopefully we're playing Man City and Man United." But maybe that won't happen. But yeah, brilliant setup. So shout out to Chorley FC. Brilliant.
What was also exciting was you put Beep on the phone to me, and he has legs. He was outside of the room. He'd made
Hopefully
it out.
Steve's going to come on. Hopefully he's going to come on today. Hopefully hit the link. You had a chat with Lee Bayliss, didn't you? It was
That's good.
Great setup up there.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I mean, that was the best part of the day, wasn't it? And then you get to deep down and we kick off 3 o'clock. What was your view on the team then? So there was no Kiefer, was there? No Al-Hamadi.
So I think I did say Wednesday on the preview show. That was the team that I would have picked Jackson. Yes. But look, then we didn't know we were going to sign. We'd already signed Al-Hamadi, and I didn't think he was going to start anyway. And then obviously we signed Kiefer Moore. But like Kieran said in his post-match yesterday, Matt, they didn't know till 4 o'clock if he was signing or not. So, and this is where I think Mike. I spoke to Mike on the way home last night, and I've said this before about Kieran. He's really methodical, isn't he, in his thinking? So was it a surprise? I know a lot of people would say, you've signed a striker, you've signed a Premier League striker, why is he not playing? And I get that. I totally get that. But Kieran, I don't think Kieran's like, he didn't train. He's just probably met the lads on the Friday morning, probably getting on the coach, Matt. Going maybe up there.
A little light session Friday morning.
What do you say? Harry Hindsight. The best football pundit out there. I don't think this is hindsight about Jackson, and we'll come on to him. But Steve Parry said, and he hit the nail on the head, the narrative's been set now with Jackson being picked. If it goes tits up, that's what everyone will say. And what's everyone saying? Shouldn't have started Jackson. But I was having words, let's just say, with a couple of the guys behind me. We're 3-0 down, and everyone's blaming Jackson. Was Caden Jackson, was that his fault we were losing the game at half-time 3-0? No, it wasn't. Would it have been different if Kiefer had started the game? We don't know that. But we can get into that anyway. We can get into the first half anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what was kind of prevalent in that lineup was how strong. We mentioned this on the post-match show last night. How strong the bench was. I mean, we'll read them out again. Moore, Broadhead, Hutchinson, Harness, Al-Hamadi, Walton, Twanzebe, Humphreys, Travis. I mean, that's now a strong bench, right? To take into championship fixtures. And like we've said before, haven't we? Like, I think even Beeper said it. It don't really matter what the starting 11 is, really, because you're now allowed to make so many changes. You know, you're changing half the team, aren't you? I mean, look, the team that starts the game, it's going to look drastically different when you get to the 80th minute, right? Yeah.
If it was down to me, it'll look drastically different starting the second half. I was surprised he only made one sub. There was a case there, Matt. He could have made 3 or 4 subs, but he'd changed the one. He'd brought Kiefer on for Caden. And then, obviously it improved second half. But first half, was it Caden Jackson? Was he to blame that we're 3-0 down? No, he wasn't. Does he offer a focal point up front? No, he doesn't, because we've seen enough of him. So
off the shoulder player, not like Kiefer Moore, is it? I mean, look, they're drastically different, aren't they? Because they've both played a part in yesterday's game. Jackson from the start, he's playing off the shoulder. You're 3 down. You brought Kiefer Moore on, and suddenly it was a bit more backs to the wall. Let's get the ball up there, and it was all hands to the pump, wasn't it? They both featured in the game, but in different scenarios. And you can't be pinning a 3-0 half-time latest score on Caden for crying
easy
out
target though, Matt. He was yesterday.
Oh,
Caden's the easy target for everybody to moan at.
Yeah. And you said, didn't you say people were having a go at Chaplin as well?
We'll get onto Chaplin. We'll get onto Chaplin later. I've got a few thoughts on him as well.
Well, I did float last week. How do we react after the Maidstone game? And we are 1 down after 4 minutes.
Did we think we'd be 2 down inside 10?
No. Even worst case scenario, I don't think we'd be 2 down, and arguably George, the fridge, scoring 2 own goals.
It was quite ironic because we're there in the away end, 3,600 odd. Town come out to a sea of blue and white balloons. You're thinking, is this an FA Cup tie?
Hopes were high.
Hopes were high. Yeah. Because normally, and this is another thing I said, like, we'll get onto the reaction of the fans at half time because there's a few people who weren't happy, but I've been to Preston when there's about 500 or 600 people there. Football fans, Matt, everyone, myself included, are very fickle.
Well, I mean, look, everyone's engaged at the moment. Up until kickoff yesterday, we were second in the table. Everyone's behind McKenna. You've got the signings have come in, and people are enjoying the away days. There's not been too much to there's not been too much to moan about, really. But like you say, people can get fickle. But look, they've travelled in great numbers and fair play. Ain't round the corner, is it? What time did Collins coach? You have to be there 5:45 a.m. to get there for start to leave at 6.
6 o'clock on the road.
It's a great commitment, isn't it? But look, the game starts. We get off to the worst possible start, don't we? Not helped by Mr. Graham Scott, the referee, who, like last week, was it Taylor last week? Anthony Taylor fails to see a foul in front of him, 5 yards. Ball breaks and Will Keane hits that shot. I said on the show yesterday.
We had a great view of that. We had a great view, literally right behind us. We were quite high up.
Yeah,
but it was as if it was in slow motion because, I was thinking initially it is a foul, and then Keane.
Well, he takes it from behind, right? He takes his legs away from behind.
Keane picks it up and has a bit of a pot shot from 25 yards.
The Keane we used to. The Keane we used to from
striking it sort of. There's an interesting comment. I'm not quite sure what Kieran said after the game about defense, like trying to block shots. Basically, they're gonna have to learn on, because that's one where Halaki's going to throw his cap on that. It's not even a great shot, is it really? And
Mickey Stockwell said in the halftime show, Rich, that if Halaki hadn't even moved, he probably could have just kicked the ball away. It was that soft, wasn't it?
Martin has Halaki overset for the first, but he's initially gone the way that the ball's going. Yeah. So it's a very fortunate goal. We've had some like the Leicester goal at Morsey, but what do we say? If you don't shoot, you don't score.
No, exactly.
So he's had the shot. He's got a deflection. It's gone in. You're thinking this is probably the worst possible start after last week. Yeah. And then it was. And then it not many minutes later, Matt, it gets a damn sight worse.
And this time, James Mainwaring on the line there. Yeah, from Lancashire FA, by the way, everybody. How does that work? Fails to see the 2 yards offside. Reese, is it Reese Jacobson? Reese Jacobson?
Yeah.
Like disappointing. Look, Frisch does quite well to get back in the end, and actually, it's his foot that actually takes it past Haladki. You could argue he was on the wrong side, but he's trying to get back in. I mean, what was again? You've got a good view of that, right, from in the away end.
Yeah, like initially, right. I don't know why Town are playing such a high line. 5 yards inside our own half, when we've already conceded a goal, right?
In the centre circle, practically.
We've lost the ball. They've lost the ball. They've broken. He's played that ball through. But we are so wide open there. And look, Fridge has stepped up. He's played him offside. So it is offside. But why are we so high up the pitch so early in the game when you're already conceded? Just drop 10 yards. Just get back in the game. Get your foot on the ball. Initially, when he's gone through, I haven't seen Fridge. I thought he's just stuck it in the corner. When I've watched it back, the fisherman makes a really good point. Now, Fridge is running back and he's done really well to get there. But when you are he's running within the posts, right?
Yep.
What's that? Can't be saying that if you don't follow it through with the third. We'll get onto the third goal in a minute. Not quite sure what Martin's point is he making there.
Don't know.
Martin, why don't you come on? Stop sitting in your sick bed and bloody getting in the chat. Put other people's comments up, not just your own. Come on.
Sit on the treatment table.
So Mike says, you're within the goalposts, right? You're running towards your own goal. Now, he's gone with a straight leg, Fridge, to try and tow it. But the only place he's towing it, Matt, is into his own net. Now, if he tries to slide, either way, to come across the ball, trying to get it away, I know then if you're doing that, you're at the risk of giving away a penalty and possibly a red card. So, the ball's gone in, it's 2-0, and you're thinking, this is absolutely probably the worst start. Look, we are good at coming from behind, but then you immediately think, blimey, 2-0 after 10 minutes. It's probably a good time to go 2-0 down in a game after 10 minutes because you've got a long time to get back in the game. This is the only positive that I'm looking at when it's 2-0 and you're looking at your watch and you're thinking you've still got a long, long time in the game to get back.
And as we've said on previous shows, we know, well, it's certainly maybe not in the sort of short term, but if you look back over the season, we've been very good at getting back into games. But then again, we go back to another point you've made where you said we can't keep going 2 down.
Well, if you look at the 21 points from losing positions.
Losing positions, yeah.
Right. So, which is brilliant. But you're giving yourself a mountain to climb.
It's a stat you don't want.
No, and it's not always good. But how many times have we conceded those early goals? I know we haven't conceded two early goals, but we've let 2 goals in there after 10 minutes. You've given yourself a big mountain to climb. And like you say, after the performance last Saturday, you know, we want to come out. We want a positive start. Immediately, you're chasing the game and you're 2-0 down, isn't it?
I think Stuart Watson put in East Anglian today that I think we've conceded 48 goals, of which 30% of those have been in the first 15 minutes. So, that, I mean, look, tells you everything, that, doesn't it? Almost a third of our goals are, you know, we're having to try and claw back into games, which it's a miracle to think that we're sitting 4th. Do you know what I mean? It shows you the spirit, the character, the attacking prowess that McKenna's put into the side to be able to, like you say, claw 21 points back from losing positions. But, you know, if you said to Kieran McKenna, do you want to keep going 1 down in games, or 2 down, or whatever it might be, like you say, you're constantly climbing a mountain, and that takes effort, doesn't it?
This is going to probably be one of the main reasons why I don't think we'll finish in the top 2, because you look at them 3 teams above us. I don't know how many. You probably, someone could find it out if you maybe Martin can do it. How many clean sheets have they kept compared to us?
Yeah.
We don't keep enough clean sheets. We're always shipping goals, and I know we're free scoring, and it's great.
Yeah.
But you cannot keep doing it. You know, you remember them early home games, Matt? We were winning 4-3, 4-2, 3-2. Brilliant football, but that'll kill you. You can't keep giving yourself a mountain to climb, and you continue. Goes. I see Charlie's message there in the chat to start with about maybe signing a centre back in the window.
We need 2 experienced centre backs, says Charlie.
But I think that might be somewhere we go in the. We've got an experienced centre back. He played for Man United, Axel Twanzebe. So this is another thing with supporters. We've got 4 centre backs as it is when Burgess comes back. We don't need any more. Unless you're going to get rid of a couple, you can't just keep stacking up centre halves, because you've only got 20. You've only got 25 people you can pick in the squad anyway. So I don't think you can keep saying, you need another player. That is a football fan, totally to a T. We always need another player. We always need another player.
And we've seen Elkan go out to Bristol Rovers. I think he made his debut off the bench yesterday. I think he did. But yeah, I said to Martin during the game yesterday, I always feel like at 2-0, you know, we've shown we can get back into it, but 3-0 is like that's proper climbing Everest and coming back down again in a day, you know. I mean, you're in trouble.
This is approximately mine. Can we not have bang on the money? Why is that approximately, mate?
Is that clean sheets? Is it Leeds
approximately
12,
approximately
Southampton 9. What was your thoughts on the 3rd goal? Because I feel like in the post-match show last night, people started talking about Hladky and Walton again. This been I don't know why this has been a constant conversation, because Hladky's been very good for us. But listen, it's edge of your seat, isn't it? And live and die by the sword, Stuart Watson said today, playing out from the back. Now, whether there's an argument to keep playing out from the back when you're 2 down, I don't know. But that's obviously how Kieran likes to play. But it went tits up yesterday, didn't it? Hladky plays the ball. Morsey's already got one of their midfielders on him. He's tried to move the ball out to the left. You're right, as you're looking at it from the away stand. It's got blocked. Melee in the box. Keane's there again. Very few times has that happened this season. You know, and it's it's just sort of like it happened when you're 2 down, trying to claw the game back.
Well, it's like Kieran said, everything that could go wrong in that first half did.
Yeah.
Now I know there'll be a lot of people of opinion. Why are we passing there? Why don't we go long? But if you read McKenna's comments after the match, he said what people would forget, Matt. If you go long and you lose the ball away, give the ball away there, and then they score. This is the thing. This is only the 2nd time this season playing out. First time at Watford when Hladky tried to pass it out to the left back.
That's right.
It got cut out. And then, so in 29 games, we've conceded 2 goals playing out from the back. So that says to me, it's working. And I know people will say, but there's times in the game when you shouldn't do it. You're 2-0 down near half time. But Kieran said this. He said it before, that if we struggle and teams press us, we'll be braver, Matt. That's what we are. We're brave on the ball. And this is, people still cannot get it into their heads after Kieran's been here for 2 years and he's been drilling them and he's drilling them on the training field every single day. This is how we play. This is how we play. But we've just said there, what you want lumping the ball, but we've got no focal point up the top with Jackson. So the ball would come straight back anyway.
I suppose it's lumping it, Jack Charlton style, as I said yesterday, for Republic of Ireland. and being a bit more cultured, whereupon, we had this problem against Stoke, didn't we? We couldn't break through the lines. So then you started seeing Hladky chipping the ball out to the edge of the centre circle where a Chaplin or a Jackson could come deep and bring the midfield in, and you get the ball out to the channels. So, I mean, look, you're not going to see the Jack Charlton Wimbledon crazy gang style long ball. But I mean, what was the vibe at half time? So we're 3 down. What was
great.
You said there was a bit of booing and stuff?
Not great. Yeah, I didn't agree with it. Colin was raging at people booing. And look, I said to him, everyone makes their own decisions. When you go to a football match, you pay for that ticket. Within the rules, unless you're abusing somebody, you can boo, cheer. You can do what you want, Matt. So I get that. And you're never going to change someone's opinion. If they want to boo, they'll boo. I don't think...
I don't really get that.
Personally, I don't think you should be booing him. It was quite funny, really, because lose the ball in your box there, possibly if goal is a lot higher, you can still... We do this. Matt Stanner, we do this. We look at the goals we've scored, literally from... Remember the game against Hull at home, when Hladky done a Cruyff turn on the goal line and took out 2 of their players.
Yes.
And then we scored a wonderful goal.
Yeah,
People seem to forget that. And when it goes wrong, they're saying, don't do it. It's 2 times. 2 times. It's all we've done it. That's it.
But as I said last week, sometimes you're only as good as your last match. And, now that, yesterday's debacle, well, first half debacle, certainly. It's Hladky's.
But yeah, booing at half time. Not for me.
I don't really get that. Yeah, fickle. I mean, look, we were at that point we were second in the table. Look, and in a run to get to the Premier League, it's not like we're second from bottom.
This is what I'm saying about the fans. We've taken 3,600 there because we're doing really well. There you go. When we went to Preston under McCarthy, when we lost 4-0 when we were getting relegated on Lambert, we took about 600 fans. Where were these people then? Where were these people then when we were doing really shit? That's football. That's football fans, Matt, and that's what happens when you play well. People want, like you say, they want to come and watch you play. But it was quite interesting because obviously you got that at halftime. Yeah, at the end of the game, we've lost the game, but they all got
everyone united.
Everyone gave them a really good ovation off the pitch because I look the first half.
No one covered themselves in glory, did they? I mean, look,
that's not a performance that really I've seen many times under McKenna's when he's been here. Really,
no. We said on the show yesterday. Martin texted me to say Wolfie and Edmondson were flapping like 2 windbreakers at Felixstowe Beach, and Deepdale's pitch was like a beach, wasn't it? It was so heavy, wasn't it? I mean, even people being critical of Wes in the first half, but I mean that was churned up down there. That was camera side. It was really churned up. And look, we're used to playing as Matt Holland said. We're used to playing on a billiard table. That's the surface we have at Portman Road. But you go away, and we've played on far worse in League One, but. I suppose it doesn't help the passing game. Look, their excuses, I suppose. We did nothing. Sarmiento wasn't in the game. We couldn't get Jackson in the game. We were just getting overrun, weren't we? But I don't know what people are kind of expecting from individuals when you're 3-0 down and you're chasing the game. And Chaplin's getting marked out of the game. And we can't get Wes in. Sarmiento's anonymous. As McKenna said, it was all going pear-shaped at the same time. Not the recovery we wanted after Maidstone, but I mean,
no. And this is where I say you could have easily made more than one change at half time. There was no one really. Moore was the obvious one to come on.
That was obvious, wasn't it?
You've got a Broadhead on the pitch. Look, he's obviously
argument
said
for 2 strikers. Argument to bring Al Hamady on as well. Look, they've not played with each other, but you're chasing the game.
We'll get onto that in a minute. But I can see why he's brought Moore on. But he's basically said to him, listen, you've been shit. Go out there and put right. I'm going to give you an opportunity to go out there and put what you've done. Because Kieran said he was still quite confident getting a result second half. Because we're good at coming back. So he's obviously made that one change. It could have been 3 or 4 maybe. Sarmiento didn't think he was great second half. I thought at least started the second half, Matt. He got on the ball. He looks to make things happen. Sam Morsey yesterday, he's another one. Didn't think he had a really good game. I thought he was pretty poor. But he doesn't go missing. He's always looking for that ball.
Leadership.
So
that's true.
And we come out, and when you're 3-0 down, it's not insurmountable that you can come back. But when you have things that need to go your way, you're always chasing the clock. And you look at the early free kick from Leif Davis. Probably was that 5 minutes into the second half.
I think he was, at 47.
So
2 minutes in.
Immediately
there. He was unlucky there. He was unlucky.
Yeah, immediately I'll tell you what, he's totally done Woodman, because Woodman is expecting the cross. So he's stepped to his left.
Everyone was, I think.
And he doesn't take much of a run up, Leaf. It's probably about 2 or 3 steps. Whips it. He's done the goalie. And you think this is where you do need luck in football, Matt, because 6 inches the other side, it's a goal, it's 3-1, and Town are back in the game. Because we'd come out, and immediately, I think the first ball that got paid up to Moore, I think he's won a header.
Yeah.
Immediately, you've got that focal point, and you need everything to go your way when you're chasing that game. And I sit here now and think, if that had gone in, I know it didn't. This is why I've got on my headline, if buts and maybes. That's how it is in football. If that went in, 3-1, I think we get something out of the game.
You like you say, you're clock watching the whole time, aren't you? 3-0 down with 45 minutes to go. You've probably, McKenna and Pert are probably setting just mini targets. Can we get one back by, I don't know, the hour mark? Can we get a second by the 70th? And you've got 20 minutes to try and without conceding, obviously. I mean, you're kind of micromanaging the game. I think it's all very well. Like, everyone's got their opinions. Oh, I would have started more. But there's an element of man management around this as well, isn't there? Well, I mean, look, you start Kiefer Moore. We still have the same 3-0 deficit because, you know, a striker isn't going to influence any of those goals yesterday. What does that say? He's made his debut. Oh, bloody hell, he did nothing. Do you know what I mean? Jackson gets it because he's been here longevity. He'd have probably
played 60 minutes more. And then you'd have probably took him off. But then who are you going to play up the centre then? Didn't work with Broadhead. Didn't work with Jackson. You're throwing Al Hamadi up there on his debut. Who's come from League Two. It's a big ask. So
they've got to be eased in. Look, Al Hamadi was still in Qatar on Tuesday, speaking to Marcus Nash, and like you said, the move for Moore didn't really gather momentum properly until 4 p.m. It was signed. Yeah. There or thereabouts on the Thursday. Bit of light training on the Friday morning, and they travel. McKenna said that himself. It was like you rightly said. It was on Wednesday. It would be Jackson. But then we started throwing the Alamo at it, didn't we? And of course, like you say, Leaf was really unlucky with that free kick. Creative, it fooled everyone, even Glenn Wheeler and Wesley on the comms. Everyone was expecting it to go back stick. Very unlucky, like you say, millimeters the other way.
You think when things like that happen, Matt, you probably think it's not going to be our day.
But at least at least you're going down with the ship a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Look, you're half sunk already at 3-0.
Guns blazing.
But it could easily go 4, 5, 6, couldn't it? I mean, but you know, there's an element of damage limitation in there for goal difference. Although we are quite a long way behind your Leicesters and Southamptons, I suppose. But, you know, Leaf got another assist. He dinks that ball in. I think Broadhead passed it to Leaf, I think. Little dink to the back post, and there was Big Kiefer. And we said on the show yesterday, you know, what you lose in the press that Hurst gave you, you're probably going to gain in headed opportunities. And lo and behold, 7 years after making his debut, Rich, Kiefer Moore scores an Ipswich Town shirt.
I mean, that's a cross that someone like him, as soon as that ball floated in, he got 2 defenders there. He got exactly. There was only one person winning that header.
Yeah.
You know, bang, in the net, 3-1. And you think, we're back in the game. You've got a positive to take there. He's come on in his debut and he's got that monkey off his back when he made 11 appearances off the bench before and he didn't score. And he's done that immediately and he's got a goal and you think, that's good going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a tremendous head of hair as well, hasn't he? Because many different haircuts 7 years ago. I imagine the Gov, because he had like the man crush on Bart, of course, but he loved his hair. I do wonder if not that might shift his attention to that.
Very slick.
But they played in the Town TV, in the hour beforehand as you're heading towards kickoff, which was very good actually, very entertaining with Matt Holland and Stockwell. They played the Moore interview. And he said, you know, I'm a completely different player to what was signed here. I was coming out non-league. I was only making sub appearances. I've gone away and worked on my game. I've worked on my character. I've gone on to Euros. I've gone to World Cup. And you're thinking that you can see why when McKenna and Pert and Ashton put so much stock into characters, you can see why he's fit.
So I've got a question for you and question for the chat. And I said it to Colin on the phone this morning and Mike and Craig when I spoke to them. Right. So Kiefer Moore, when he was here initially, 17, 18, what was he then, Matt? Was he 23, 24?
Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, if he's 31 now,
so
right?
He's 31 now. So we'll take him at that stage of his career then and George Hurst at his stage of his career now. So George Hurst is around the same age, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So at this stage of his career, where they sit when Kiefer Moore was 24 and Hurst is 23, 24, Hurst is a better player, right? Right, now Kiefer Moore's 31 and he's been around and he's been to Rotherham, Barnsley, wherever he's been, he's done well and he's scored goals. He's played international football, Euros, World Cup, and now he's 31. And I know Hurst won't play international football because he's not going to play for England. And Kiefer Moore plays for Wales because they've not, no disrespect to Wales, they've got less people to select from. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
By the time George Hurst is 31, will he have had as good a club career as Kiefer Moore has had?
Yeah, it remains to be seen. I mean, look, I don't know. It's
Gov says no.
It's a good. Tell us in the comments, everybody. It's a really good question. But of course, they've come from polar opposites in their careers. I mean, you look at George Hurst's upbringing. His dad's David Hurst, in and around Sheffield Wednesday, a great striker himself. So it's the DNA runs in the family. Where Kiefer is kind of like, he went to Torquay. He was at Forest Green. Where else did he play? Where else did he play? I want to say Bromley.
Right, I've got the list here from the other night. Right, started at Truro.
Truro.
Dorchester, Yeovil, Viking, which is a team in Norway.
So he goes out on loan.
Forest Green Rovers, and that's where Town snapped him up from because he was in their reserves because he was on loan at Torquay. Yeah. And then obviously Town, Rotherham, Barnsley, Wigan, Cardiff, Bournemouth, Ipswich.
Yeah. Oh, it was Al Hamidi was at Bromley, wasn't it? That's what I was thinking. Yeah. And a great fit when you think that he's a stranger to the team, but knows loads of people. Burns, Broadhead, played with Morsey. Who else did he play with? Chaplin at Barnsley. He's played with Leaf at Bournemouth. So it ticks all the boxes. But yeah. I mean, look, we've got some people waiting. So let's fly through the goals, Rich. 3-1. Then Al Hamidi comes on. We get it back to 3-2. Very unlucky not to score himself. Woodman doesn't know too much about it.
I think he should score. Range. Initially, the cross comes in. Leaf heads it back, doesn't he? And then there's Moore and Al Hamidi go for the same ball, don't they? And the goalie makes the initial save, spills out.
Yeah.
I think he snatches a little bit there and he hits it straight at the goal. He's got like the whole goal to aim at. If you look at Kiefer Moore there, so they've both gone up for the header. Kiefer sort of stumbled down.
Yeah.
The ball's come out off the goalkeeper. He gets up and he just calms himself.
Yeah.
Calms himself down and he just slots it, passes it in the corner. And that's that little bit of experience, what I said on the transfer show, that hopefully in the 4 months he's at the club, and nobody knows what would happen in the summer. If he scores a lot of goals, there'll be a lot of clamour for Town to sign him on a permanent. We don't know if we can afford him. But in the initial 4 months he's going to be at Town, he can help Al Hamidi because he's got that experience, in them positions and calmness. And hopefully he can use him like a sponge, and just soak up everything he gives on the training field. And then he had another chance. There was a header, I think, that Woodman saved.
Yeah.
He was just, it was like the Alamo, that last 10, 15 minutes. Preston were on the ropes. They were like the boxer, weren't they, Matt? They fought well and then they've blown themselves out. You
probably wouldn't have been able to see this from the stands, but the TV camera kept panning around to Ryan Lowe. He's in the ear of the fourth official. How long to go? Because his job's at stake, isn't it? I mean, look, we had Ollie on from the Butterpie Pod. Make sure you tune into them, everybody, to get their take on the game. But he was like, we don't know really what's going to happen with Ryan Lowe. So he's thinking about job preservation, isn't it? To get a win over Ipswich high-flying Ipswich in second, he'll take that all day. But look, they've beaten Leeds at home, and I think they've beaten Southampton at home as well. So, I mean, look, clubs have rocked up there and been beaten. But listen, I said yesterday to Coxey, I didn't know we'd signed Jekyll and Hyde in the transfer window because how we finished the second half was completely different to how we played the first half. And, we've dropped down the table. We discussed this last week. We have dropped down before. But it gives us a bit of a platform going into West Bromwich Albion. And as we said on the phone last night, Al Hamidi and Moore will now have a week of training on the training ground. No, like you said, no games, no distractions, work on patterns and play. And, we've got a big game. And West Brom are right behind us now, aren't they? Albeit 11 points.
Just quickly, I want to touch on Graham Scott, who was the ref at Rotherham away. Mr. George Hurst penalty. Mr. George Hurst penalty.
Yes.
Mr. Handball from, I think, Swansea when mates. Right. So yesterday, second half. So I like to be, I can see it from both sides. I'm not just a Town fan who says, right, like everything's from our point of view. He obviously doesn't know the rules. Second half, ball played back to Haladki. Miscontrols it. It's running into the net. So Haladki dives and he saves it.
Palms it away.
No free kick. Do you not know the rules? It's an indirect free kick about 4 yards from the goal. So initially, maybe he didn't see it. I don't know where he was on the field. He didn't maybe not have the best position. He's got a linesman there. He's got a referee's assistant to help him.
Sean Massey Ellis.
So Yeah, she was on the, as we looked at the pitch second half.
Yeah,
on,
so she had a good view of it.
Our left back, so should have seen it. And then, so the first 4 games of the season, Vas got 3 yellow cards for time wasting on goal kicks.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Second half yesterday,
Woodman.
at least three times, the refs come up to Freddie Woodman and told him, basically, get on with it. 3 times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Where's the yellow?
Where's the yellow card? Where is the consistency? And where is the consistency now with the time added on? We've gone back to where we were now. Yesterday, there was only 5 minutes. There was all loads of subs being made.
Would have been 13 back in on the opening day of the season.
We bring these new rules in. I don't know about the 6-second rule, the goalkeeper holding the ball in his hands. That's another one that never ever gets called on now, Matt. He was holding it so long in the second half there. He kept looking up because he had the big screen above where we were. We couldn't see it, the clock. He's obviously Woodman keeps looking up at it at the time.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, but we've all played the game. If someone lets you get away with stuff, you're going to push the rules as much as you can. So I'm not blaming Freddie Woodman for time wasting. That's down to the officials to clamp down on it and get your cards out. Get your cards out. But he doesn't.
No, he didn't book anyone, did he?
No. Morsey got one in the mouth in the first half. Should have been a yellow.
Proper yellow, that. He was bleeding from the mouth as well.
Yeah, I mean, look.
That was a proper Jackie Chan spinning heel kick move from the...
It wasn't why we lost the game. We lost the game because we made a really poor start. Yeah, we can say the second goal was offside. That is down to the officials. He should see that. But we moan every week about officials. Probably fans do up and down the country, and it doesn't seem to get any better.
Poor though, isn't it? It
doesn't get any better, Matt.
I mean, everyone watching this show now, you go and throw in a performance like that in your workplace tomorrow, and the boss will have the right arse ache with you. I mean, I know they've got the assessors up in the stand, but it was really poor. I'm sure Mr. Graham Scott is a lovely fellow if we were to meet him, but piss poor on the pitch yesterday, and certainly didn't help us. But it was a contributory factor. It wasn't, as you rightly say, Reg. It wasn't the only factor. It was a contributory factor. All right. Well, who we got, Martin? Who's going to come in first? And we have optimistic Phil. Hello, Phil. How you doing?
I'm a bit bruised and disappointed from yesterday afternoon. My friend Lee, he went to the game yesterday. He was saying the first half was diabolical, but now that I've seen the highlights, now that I've seen what the referee was like, now that I've heard what they were saying on the radio yesterday, especially in the second half, Alex Matthew was co-commentating, and even he was saying that the officials were very poor yesterday afternoon for both teams.
Yeah,
exactly, for both teams. Right. Okay. Now that I've seen the highlights, now that I've seen the goals, I'm saying I sit on both sides of the fence, as you know, and I can, because I'm allowed the opinion. I'm absolutely raging inside. How on earth is this guy a Premier League referee? He's got VAR to back him up in the Premier League. He's not got VAR in the Championship, sadly.
We mentioned this last week, Phil. Are the Premier League referees
I'm raging inside, mate. I'm raging inside because it's diabolical.
Yeah. Are they too reliant on the tech? Are they too reliant on the tech when they haven't got it in the champ? Is there an argument to have it in the Championship? We're talking millions. We're talking millions at stake here.
But should that linesman, Phil, shouldn't need VAR then, because there for the second goal, because he's about 2 yards offside. He's banging line. Should be banging line with that. You should see that all day long.
Was he behind play? If he was behind play, then he needs to get his coat and out
he was
the door.
right in line. We've had the freeze frame sent over to us. He was right in line.
Look, I would say we cannot keep conceding 2 and 3 goals a game because that simply cannot continue. McKenna needs to address this. And just going on the fact that you mentioned that we play a high, I think we needed to play a high line to push the players up the field to get us back into the game. And sadly not, it went the other way. We went 3 down before half time. I felt sorry for Fridge yesterday. Look, Vaz for us this season's been pretty magnificent for us so far this season. So we can sort of allow one bad game at the office, kind of, Look, it's horrible to lose in the manner that we did. It was horrible to see us 3-0 down because we're not a team like that. And we have to go and beat West Brom on Saturday because if we don't, we're going to be in trouble. We have to deny.
Well, we're not in trouble. We're still
define trouble, Phil. Define trouble.
Comfortably in the league. We're not in trouble, are we?
Define trouble. Top 2 or bust. And I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
And I don't care.
I think, and I don't know if I said to you, I said to Colin this morning, the sooner our fans realise that Town are going to be in the playoffs, the world will be a better place. Just accept it. It's where we're going to finish.
We're getting told off in the chat here by It's Eleanor. They are female. She's a female assistant referee. Sorry, Eleanor. We're old school on here. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Just stepping aside from what happened yesterday, comparing George Hurst to Kiefer Moore is not something I like to hear about because they're two completely different players. No disrespect to the Welsh national team, but they're a lesser national team than England are, and they always will be. So
they get to tournaments. They get to tournaments.
True. But the thing is, right, if you're comparing George Hurst to Kiefer Moore, there's no point in doing that because they're two completely different players. Take, for example...
I wasn't comparing him. I'm saying, will he have as good a career?
No, he won't.
You don't know that.
Yeah, the career, yeah.
You don't know that. You don't know that. He might, at 24, he's still got another 7 years to grow.
Mm.
Before George Hurst came to us, before George Hurst played a championship game for us, how many championship goals had he scored up to that point?
Yeah, zero. Yeah, zero.
Right.
Yeah.
So look, I'm saying everybody starts from some point in their career.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to say that George Hurst is going to have a magnificent career.
But you could say by the age of 24, Kiefer Moore had 7 clubs, and he didn't pull up any trees at any of them.
Ditto Harry Kane. Look how he came out. But you don't know what's in someone's future, do you? But
no. I'm saying take Dominic Solanke for example at Bournemouth.
Yes.
How many goals did he score in the Premier League this season? He hasn't kicked a ball for England yet.
Yeah.
He should be really
Good point.
considered.
And he was
England
on.
call.
Yeah, he was on. No one ever thought he was going to kind of step up like that. I don't think. Was he Liverpool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great academy at Liverpool. Wonderful academy at Liverpool.
Yeah, got some kids coming through, haven't they? Where do you stand, Phil, on the we should have played Kiefer Moore from the start? That seems a stretch to me.
For me, I was very surprised to see Moore on the bench starting because, you know, a player like Well, you'd
have thrown him in.
Yes, I would. Absolutely, 100%. I would have thrown him in straight away. Said, "There you go, boy. Get on the end of 1 or 2 crosses from Leif Davis."
Do you think, Phil, in hindsight, which is Harry Hindsight is the best football pundit in the world, do you think Kieran, sitting on the bus going home last night, had a little bit of regret that he didn't start him?
I think he had a bit of a regret, yeah. Look, we're now, what, 9 games without a win? Or one win in 8 or 9?
1 win in 8.
Yeah, okay, right. This can't continue. It really can't. We went through the similar sort of period at exactly the same stage.
Phil, you're not criticising McKenna, are you?
Shush.
That's not allowed.
I do believe him, right. Okay, look, he needs to sort this out. I'm confident that he will, okay, sooner than later. I'm very surprised and shocked that we did get anything at Deepdale, considering that, you know, I was expecting a response from last weekend and it just wasn't there.
It's not Deepdale, is it, Matt? What's the headline of the show?
Deep fail.
Deep fail.
There you go.
It's one of Gov's, isn't it?
No, it was his, actually.
Oh, right, okay. Look, I'm saying we need to beat West Brom next weekend. Simple as that. You know.
Are you hopeful, Phil?
Yes, I am. Look,
we had no great shakes with them at the Hawthorns, did we? In fact, we barely laid a glove on them.
Last week, was it on Thursday on the transfer show, right? Mike Fisherman wouldn't come on here and say how he truly felt about Kiefer Moore because he said he was shit. 2 goals in his debut game. I'm sorry, Mike. You need to eat your words. I'm sorry.
Mike, he's eating his words already. He said that he possibly could have been wrong. Let's give him a little bit. Let's just come on.
Well done, Mike.
It's all about opinions. It's all about opinions, Phil.
Mike will have
the opinion, not the person.
Mike will have his opinion. Mike will have his opinion, but he's never short in sort of saying, I got that wrong. So, I mean, I
had a really good chat with him, Phil, on the way home. I spoke to Mike for nearly an hour.
I'm sure
he made some really, really good points. He did. I know Mike sometimes. I'm not sure if he is the fisherman on a little bit of a reeling him in, but I thought he made some really good points. And, you know, I've got an analogy for both of you. So, Town are in the Grand National. This is what I'm saying, like our season is like at the minute. So the Grand National is probably one of the greatest horse races in the country. Everyone loves having a bet, Phil. So we're all lining up. Town and Leicester, we go around twice at Aintree, by the way, over the fences.
Yep.
We've gone off like an absolute house on fire. So we're streaking. We're streaking ahead. We're going over them jumps. We're flying. They come to the chair, Matt. Do you know the chair?
The chair.
Massive jump. They've made it smaller now because for safety. And then they turn left there. We absolutely fly over that. And we're keeping up with Leicester behind us.
I like this.
Southampton and Leeds, there they are, Phil, behind us. But they're just there. Yeah, they're just going over that, and then they're edging a bit closer. So we get around the first lap. Town is still in second. Now we're about 2/3 of the way around the course. We've nearly fallen a couple of times over the jumps. One of them was against Norwich, maybe a little bit. We've had a little bit of a stutter. Southampton and Leeds, they're back. They are ahead of us now. How does the Grand National finish?
We still finish second, and that's what I'm sticking with.
Oh,
Well,
top two plus. We ain't going to beat Leeds in the playoffs. If we finish third or fourth,
Phil's only optimistic to a certain point, everybody, and that's meeting Leeds in the playoffs. In which case, he's got us getting a show in.
Does anyone watch the Rest is Football podcast with Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, and Michael Rich? I love watching that. It's such a laugh. Check it out on the podcast. The Rest is Football, and it's been going for we've had about 8
Lineker can get in the bin, and I watched it the other week, and they were on about Leicester, Southampton, and Leeds. Typical pundits.
Yeah,
not
I did see that.
I did see that. About Town, which is like this is what everyone predicted anyway, Matt, from the pundits, that Town are just going to fade away. Let's hope that we don't.
Joby McAnuff did yesterday on Sky. I mean, look, it's a little bit early to write us off. We are only 2 points behind second, of course. But as you said, Rich, and I think the point he was making was that they have ex-Premier League players across the board to as you're seeing with Southampton. It will take another 100 years to equal this record that they're on at the moment.
Can I just talk about the January transfer window for a moment?
Yeah, right? Go for it. Yeah.
Last season we had an excellent January transfer window, which ultimately proved automatic promotion was achieved by signing the players that we did in the January transfer window. This January transfer window, I think, will have the same impact. We've done some pretty good business with the players that we brought in.
Out of 10? Out of 10?
8, albeit we probably missed out on the one player that we really wanted in Jay Stansfield, right? But I still believe, right, okay, if you look at the other signings, the top 2 or 3 clubs have made, Leicester, Leeds and West Brom. Okay, Southampton signed David Brooks from Bournemouth, and he's a really good player. But when you look at the signings that those clubs have made in the January, have they made some really good quality signings that you could argue that have really strengthened what they've already have? No, they haven't. We've strengthened our team. We've strengthened our squad with the players that we brought in. Okay, at least in Sarmiento and Kiefer Moore, definitely for sure. And I still believe that we will finish in the top 2.
Look, we discussed this in the week, weren't we, Rich?
Because at some point Southampton have got to lose. They can't keep on winning.
No, they don't. They don't. Why do they have to lose? They don't. They might keep going.
Because they're not going to win every game. They're not going to win every game.
We are hoping now that they're going to have a meltdown.
Look, they've got to play us yet, mate, and we're going to beat them.
Not defending like we did yesterday, Phil. Well, not a chance.
Look, we're going to beat them.
We can't keep. I've said this for a long time. We can't keep 48 goals we've conceded. Matt, did you say?
Yeah, I think so.
Too many. It's too many. You're not getting a promotion. You're not getting a promotion, Phil, especially in the top 2 with a leaky sieve at the back. That just doesn't happen.
Unless it's Joe Rolls attacking football where you're winning games 4-3.
But we still didn't get promoted then.
Well, we didn't. No, in fact, didn't we?
If Joe Roy was given just maybe $1 million or 2 million, I think it would have been a different story. But I do not want this.
If buts and maybes.
I do not want this to be 2005 all over again. I do not want this to be 2005 all over again. That was heartbreaking for me.
What if it is, though? What if it is? What's the worst case scenario for you then,
Phil?
Phil?
I'm saying I just have to suck it up. We all have to suck it up.
It's still a great season, whatever happens.
It'll be a very good season, regardless.
People need to just chill out. Just enjoy the ride, and wherever it takes us. If we get in the top 2, brilliant. If we get in the playoffs, are you not going to bother going then? Because you said we're not going to win them. You won't obviously turn up.
No, I will buy a playoff ticket because
why bother? You said we're going to lose. There's no point in you going.
Away games because I want to be.
There's no point in you going.
Close to the head of the queue.
Yeah, Phil's putting some miles on the motorway.
I've done about 3,000 miles so far, which is pretty good going. Better than some people, in the chat.
So if we get Leeds in the playoff final, you won't bother getting a ticket.
Probably not. No. If we get Leeds at Wembley final, we probably won't be. I look as a one-off. They've got us in their back pocket. I'm afraid, being a bit pessimistic as I'm not usually, but they have. I think Matt Stunnard would probably agree with me in the chat.
We were discussing the window. You make a great point, Phil. I mean,
we've had a really good window. I'm sorry, but we have.
I personally think it's a 10 out of 10 window, given the constraints we're having to work in. Because you ain't going to go and sign Ronaldo and Messi. You've brought in 2 lads who've been at the last World Cup in Sarmiento and Moore. You've got Blackburn's captain in. He's come to
well,
us.
Is he going to play many games? Is Travis going to play many games?
Well,
he strengthens his squad. What I will say, good window. I agree with Phil, 8.
Okay,
but what's the saying now? Let's see what they can do on the grass.
And you've got Al Hamadi in, who's going to
hang on a minute. How many goals has Sarmiento scored? How many goals has more? They've scored goals. They've already scored goals, and they'll continue to score goals. So it's been a really good window.
Yeah, it's been a really good
but we need to
window.
shut the door, Phil. We need to
do.
shut the door at the back. This is what we need to do. Shut the door. Let's have some clean sheets. Let's have some 1-0 wins, Matt. Let's go back to McCarthy ball and win 1-0.
And with the greatest respect in the world, Phil, we're going to have to shut the door on you, my friend, because we have other people who come into the chat.
There he goes.
But it's been good chatting, yeah. Keep the faith, mate. Keep the faith. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I think it's been a great window. 10 out of 10 for effort. Right. I don't think we could have got any better players in, Rich. I don't think
really good comment there from Streaky, right? And I want to touch on this about Connor Chaplin. Chaplin does give the ball away too much. Right. And I will make a bit of an allowance because I've made it with Broadhead that he's had no Hurst. So Town have won, I think, 2 in the last 10. Right? Yeah. Chaplin, for me, has been a passenger in a lot of them games, especially away from home. Leicester wasn't there. Love to know how many touches he had. Preston yesterday. As a 10, Matt, as a 10, does he affect the game enough?
Away from home? Because he certainly does at home, doesn't he? He certainly does at home.
But away from home, he's
I think he's.
I love Connor Chaplin. I think
he's
a bit of
a.
I think he's a bit of a passenger in a lot of these games. You've seen a lot of times Kieran takes him off after 60 minutes.
Yeah, got hauled yesterday. Difficult for him, isn't it? He's a slight player.
But we are allowed to. I don't want to be too overcritical. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
You've said that before.
Does he do enough? Does he do enough away from home?
Is he getting the ball enough? Of course. I mean, he's so dangerous around the box, but I just feel like he's so tightly marked. But it's not all down to him. The midfield and the channels have got to feed him. I thought
West was poor yesterday. I thought West was really poor. I know the pitch first half down that side. Horse was poor.
Is it the haircut?
Well, talking of his hair, he had a great chance there from a corner, second half hour end. The ball loops in and he's on the edge of the 6 yard.
Oh, yes.
So just has to head it back.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. If he had a top knot, I think it's going back that way. Now he's got the closely cropped. It was like a 50p and it went flying over the bar and you thought, is that the haircut? Well,
he should have done better there. Right. Who else have we got talking down towers? Who's popping by for another cup of tea? Who we got here?
Steve Parry.
Yay! Steve Parry, you're back in your natural environment. It was nice to see you in the outdoors yesterday.
Oh yeah, I got some fresh air yesterday. It made a change, you know what I mean? I was told to get some fresh air to get my cholesterol down. So
very good.
I'm getting there.
Very good.
Yeah,
give us your thoughts then. What was your thoughts at half time compared to full time?
Half time, I wasn't angry as so much as frustrated because there was things we could have done and there was things that went against us. You know, if Burgess doesn't fling a leg at that, thinking, I'm sure in his head he was stopping a goal.
Edmondson,
not
Burgess.
Sorry, Edmondson. Yeah, I'm sure in his head he thought he was stopping a goal, but if he hadn't done that, it would have gone straight into Haladki's throat. You know what I mean?
Bloody law.
He had his back to Haladki. He didn't know that, so it's like, So I wasn't annoyed. I was just frustrated that everything, like a little bit like Saturday, everything was going against us, and I don't want to start turning around and saying players were bad. I've seen a lot of people this morning saying players. I don't think that some of them had their best games. Yeah, and as fans, we can't expect players to have their best games every single week. Otherwise they're not playing for us. How many times do we have to keep saying this? If players are 9 out of 10 every week, they ain't playing for us. They're playing in the Premier League. We've got players because they're not 9 out of 10s every week. Sometimes they're 6s and 7s. And sometimes they're 5. Preston, I thought played the right way. They got the ball in their defence, and they just bypassed their midfield. They didn't give our midfield much of a chance. It was just like, boop the ball down and see who gets it. And because we played such a high line, which we've done all season, if they were onside or they were judged onside, they had to run on our defenders. Yeah, and that's the way it worked. Was I happy at the end? I was more I was more positive towards the end. At the end.
So yeah,
because Moore came on, and right from the off, he was bullying defenders. You know, he was doing what he does. He was doing what Hurst did. He was heading walls down. They weren't exactly going to Chaplin or Amari when he came on.
That focal point.
And even Broadhead played better because the ball was being headed down and it was going to players like that. And they're trying to do so. It didn't happen all the time, but it was being done. You know, when Jackson was on, it wasn't even being headed down to anyone because he's not a focal point. That's what Hurst was doing. And you could see that right from the off, you know. And then Moore got his goal. I agree with Rich. If Davis gets that free kick, I think it's a completely different outcome.
It was really creative in Davis, wasn't it? Yeah.
45 minutes left. They're worried. Moore's on the pitch. Moore gets that goal. It's 3-2 down. We're like 10, 15 minutes to play. They're panicking then. You know what I mean? Rather than just 3 minutes, they're panicking with 15 minutes to go.
Imagine,
different game. But again, you know, we can all sit there and go, well, this, that, and the other. But sometimes you just have to say, well, it wasn't our day. Same as last week. It wasn't our day. Decisions against us, I'm not using them because at the end of the day, we should have made better decisions.
Yeah, agreed.
They played their game. We played our game on the day they come out on top. But I saw more positives leaving,
yes,
than what I actually expected to see. Alhamid came on. I thought he was a big presence.
Yeah,
you know, he was I agree with Rich. He still is a bit raw, and there's things he can learn, but he had to be there in the first place, and he was to get that original shot. So, you know, and it could have gone in. It didn't, but it could have gone in. And the fact that Moore was on the deck when he had that shot and the speed Moore getting up for a big guy, he got up pretty damn quick. It was like that Chaplin goal. He was up like a flash. And then he used his experience and just tucked it to the side of the keeper. You know, for me, that's like Rick said, what he's going to pass on. So I saw a lot more positives coming away from that game than I did negatives. You know, I think there's far too many who are thinking, well, we're in the top two. We should get the top two. Well, you've got to realise all these teams around us started with £100 million head start. Let's add that to the equation and say, why should we get top two? Explain the reason why we should get top two.
And we've been holding on our fingernails, haven't we, to the cliff's edge.
Yeah,
it was only a matter of time before Southampton caught us. We've drawn, like Rich said earlier, we've not won enough games in the last 10, and Southampton keep racking up 3 points. And
am I embarrassed to be fourth? No, I'm not. I'm proud to be fourth. My prediction was 8th to 12th. You know, so anything for me is a bonus. I know we're not getting 8th to 12th, so anything that we do now for me is a bonus.
It's expectation, though, Steve, isn't it? Expectations have risen due to the team being so good. That's the problem.
Expectation is just everybody's own problem, isn't it? Because
yes,
you drive that expectation. The club hasn't been saying we're getting top two. They've not been driving the expectation. The fans making that assumption is driving the expectation. No, I'm a little bit more of a realist, and I think there was always going to be a sticky patch. They've got £200 million squads where we haven't. They have a huge budget to start the season off, and already a huge. How can you put it? A huge head start when it comes to FFP that we haven't got. And, you know, you've got to filter that in equations. But when like I said, when Phil comes on and says, well, it's top two or bust. No, it's not. The playoffs are the playoffs. Leeds might not even get to the final. The likelihood is if we're third and fourth, we won't even play Leeds till the final. Who's to say Leeds get to the final?
Yeah, very good point,
You know what I mean? The playoffs, you know, like last year, you know, the favourite went out in the semis. And we'll end up going up. You know, the top and bottom, it's they're like one-off games. Anything can happen in the playoffs, you know. So if we end up with playoffs, kudos to if we end up with top two, fantastic. I'll go and get my tattoo with pride. Yeah. If we don't, we end up with playoffs, that's still a fantastic season. Yeah. And we should be proud of the team for what they've done. And I said to Rich yesterday, and I still stand by it, I think we will come back in the summer, probably invest more, get stronger, and I still say next season's championship, given the teams coming down and given the teams going up, will not be as strong.
Yeah. Well, me and
the ones coming up from League One are not Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday and us.
That's right.
Huge loads of cash. The ones coming down, most of them are one season Premier League clubs who aren't going to get the 150 million. They're going to get the one season Premier, which is a hell of a lot less money. Yeah. And they're going to have to sell some players. So it's going to be a completely different scenario. You're not going to have 200 million pound squads coming down. You're probably going to have 100 million pound squads. It's still not going to be easy, but I think with the right tinkering and the right man, it will be easier than this year. I'm not saying that this year is written off before anybody starts saying.
Yeah, but the promotion chasing candidates might not be as strong as your Leeds, your Southampton.
Yeah, and I think we just need to focus on us. I think there's far too much focus on every other team. You know, people were watching Leeds. I was sat here watching Lucifer on Netflix. You know, people were watching Leeds. Yeah, and going, oh well, it's Bristol shit. No shit, Bristol City is shit. No wonder Leeds won. They were always going to win. You know, that's why I didn't watch it. You know, stop putting yourself through this. This is just going to make it worse for you. Yeah, if you enjoy football, watch football. That's fine, but don't watch football expecting other teams to do us a favour, because no one's going to do us a favour.
No, Mickey Stockport said that on Town TV yesterday. Steve, he said, you know, those other clubs, stop pinning hopes on them. But the only team that can get Ipswich promoted is Ipswich winning games.
We focus on us. Yesterday, I came out with huge confidence. Yeah, we'd lost Hurst, which was a big blow. The way we play, we brought more in. I agree with Rich. You know, me personally, I would have started, and I know Rich doesn't agree, but me personally, I would have started with more. But I can see why he didn't. Yeah, I understand why he didn't. Yeah, and I think he probably made the right call in the end, starting with Jackson, given Moore's lack of training time, and same with Al Hamed. But they both came on and they both made an impact, and that was. But there's one thing I do disagree with, Rich, is the third goal. I do think that was a mistake, because I know we play like that, and I have no problem with us playing like that. But Haleki must have known that there's a player 6 inches away from Morsey. Just boot it out. I booted it out touch. Go for a corner. Go for a throw in, whatever.
But Kieran will say that gets lost if you give the ball back to the opposition and then they score. No one will say that. They'll just, because we're playing out from the back, that's what they'll use that stick to beat them with.
I agree with that, but would Kieran also say, would you, in that position, do you play it to a man when you've got a man 6 inches away from you? Probably not.
We do. We've done it lots of times.
Lots of times. Does he want that to happen? Whether he likes it or not, whether he's done it or not, is irrelevant. Does he want that to happen? Probably not.
Two times in 29 games, Steve. That's all that's happened.
Yeah, and one of them was different circumstances. I understand that. Yeah, you're trying to. I'm not justifying changing the way we play, because we're not. All I'm saying is, in that specific instance where he's there, Morsey's 2 yards away from him, and there's a Preston player 6 inches away from Morsey, is it wise to pass to Morsey when he could just kick it out into touch for a throw-in? Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, maybe he didn't think about it. Maybe it was, there's a player there, I'll pass it to him. He can deal with it. But that's passing on, and then Morsey loses the ball, and then
the
pressure.
Yeah, he was under pressure,
but he doesn't need to. And other players were putting Haleki under pressure with some bad balls back to him. I'll put some credit out for Haleki. He was getting some horrible balls played back to him. You know what I mean? That he all of a sudden he had to start jiggling around with his feet. You know, I think there needs to be a bit more composure. Yeah, but we aren't. I agree with you. We're not going to change the way we play, and I think we need to focus on doing it better. Yeah, rather than changing it. But I think there are occasions. Yeah, rather than play yourself into trouble. Yeah, just get it into touch. You know what I mean? And then reset. Because there was no way, once he played that pass to Morsey 2 yards away, even if Morsey had kept the ball, you could reset. It was too close. There's no way you could reset. If he kicks it into touch, it's a throw-in, everybody comes back and resets. It might still end up a goal, but I just think you're giving you a better chance not to. Yeah, that's my opinion anyway.
I agree with that. A lot of people were saying bring back Wharton at full-time yesterday.
No,
Steve, where do you stand on that one?
No. He's not shown enough for me that for me, at least one of those goals, I know they were good goals, but at least one of them goals that against Maidstone, what a fresh Wharton, an up-to-speed Wharton would have saved.
And you haven't got the distribution. You haven't got the distribution from Walton.
I think Haleki would have saved. I think Haleki would have saved at least one of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's decision making, and Wharton's losing that. I think, to be honest, I can see Wharton going. To be honest.
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting to know. Okay, Steve. Thought just very quickly. Martin, have we got Frank waiting? Frank from the Netherlands waiting. Steve, thoughts ahead quickly of against West Bromwich Albion, back on home turf. Keith Moore debut most likely. Feeling optimistic ahead of that one?
Something I said to Rich, I said this week's training I think will benefit both Moore and They'll know the shape. They already know a lot of the people. They'll know the shape more. They'll know the patterns more. One day isn't enough, and it wasn't even a day. It was probably about 2 hours. That's not enough. Yeah, and then go on the coach and say you're giving us 90 minutes. So we've got a full week to get that sorted. In a way, it's a benefit of being out of the cup because then we don't have midweek cup matches. If you want to throw that one out there, I think next week would have been replays if we'd have ended up getting a draw. So we wouldn't have had a full week next week. You know what I mean? So there's benefit. Everything that's happened could end up being a benefit. We're all sitting here now disappointed because we didn't win. Same as last week. We're all sat here because we didn't disappointed because we didn't win. But there's 17 games to go. We don't know where we are going to be in 17 games. Anything could happen in 17 games. Last season, we were all expecting playoffs. This time in February. Didn't end up that way, though, did it? A whole host of things could happen. And I just need I don't want people to get too overconfident and overexcited, but just go with it. Whatever happens, happens. Yeah, we're having one of the best seasons, of a promoted side. The likelihood is Leif Davis is now going to break Trippier's all-time assist record.
So. Great for him.
We're more in there. It's if he can't do it now, no one.
When will he? Yeah, exactly.
Because that was his first ball in to Moore. Boom, go. That was his first ball in for him. And
I'm looking just quickly, Steve. I'm looking at obviously the fixtures next week. We got West Brom at home, obviously 12:30. You look at Leeds and Southampton's 2 fixtures, Matt. They are absolute gimmies. Leeds, Rotherham at home, Southampton, Huddersfield at home. It's massively important. We're sitting in it next Sunday speaking about a town victory. I think it's a massive, massive game, Steve.
I will say, from my little deep dive, individual deep dive into West Brom, they aren't as good away as they are at home. Away they struggle a lot more than they do at home. Most of their points they've got from home, and it's a very good home record. Away they're a little bit more hit and miss. You know what I mean? And our home record is better than our away record. So I'm confident going into the game. I think with Moore giving us that height presence up front, I'm a little bit more confident he can offer a threat from corners or set pieces or whatever. And I think we can win next week. I think it'll be a tough one. I think it'll be a tight one. I think they've lost a bit. I don't think their window's as good. I don't think they're as strong at the end of the window as they were.
Weimann, haven't they? Rich's favourite, Weimann.
Good player.
Yeah.
But I still think the weaker at the end of the window as they were at the beginning of the window. Whereas I think we're stronger at the end of the window.
Well, we can chat to Chris about that Wednesday night, can't we, Matt? Because Chris is back.
It's everyone's opinions, isn't it? We only know who's stronger or who's weaker at the end of the window by, how players are done. And if you look at our window, Sammy Anto's already got 2, Moore's already got 2, so as they're doing something, we'll see where everybody else is, what everybody else does. But I do think we should be confident going into next week because we'll learn from that game. And there was positives coming out of that game. I don't actually think McKenna will sit there on the bus going, I think I made a mistake, because I don't think in his mind he did. Yeah. So I don't think he'll be worried about it, because a lot of those goals you can't legislate for. Matt Stannard this morning said Preston played the plan. That's not a plan. A disallowed goal and offside. That's not a plan. Deflected goal and offside. If you're planning for that, I tell you what, that's one weird plan.
Their expected goal, Steve, was 0.69. Ours was 2 something.
If that's your plan, it's a bad one, because you're hoping that the linesman or our players do them a favour.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a plan. I just think they got the luck on the day. A little bit like Maidstone.
But we didn't help ourselves. I think we have to sit here and hold our hands up and say the first half that wasn't really a town performance that we've come to expect. Really, I think.
No, I don't disagree. And I said to you at half time, I think I was in the moment. I was a bit angry. I've reflected on it. I've calmed down a little bit on it, but I was frustrated more than angry.
Yeah.
And it was like, every time I've seen Town, we've been more fluid. But again, I don't think the pitch helped that. Again, everyone says, well, you're looking for excuses, but unless you play the game, unless you're in the game, yeah, whether you're saying this person was bad or this thing didn't help the person, you're defending somebody or something. You know, unless you play the game, you don't know. You know, was Chaplin bad? I don't know. Unless he comes out and says I didn't have my best game, we're just assuming it. You know, there could have been reasons for why he didn't play well. There could have been reasons for why Burns didn't play well. Just saying, it seems a bit simplistic to me to say like, well, he didn't play well. You know what I mean? There could have been reasons. Maybe it was one of those off games, like I said.
They're not robots. They're not robots, Steve.
No. Could have been an off game. Like if they were like, you know, if they were like 9 out of 10s every week, they'd be in Premier League. We've got to hold our hands up and accept that.
But I think we had too many off players off performance yesterday, Matt. That's probably why we ended up not getting a result.
But I think the biggest problem for us is they were playing much longer and bypassing our midfield, and we were turned around because we had a high line. That didn't help us from the off. And I agree with Rich. After that first goal, we should have dropped deeper a little bit. We didn't.
More importantly, Steve, what was the butter pie situation? Rich says he didn't have one. What's going on?
I asked it Charlie. I did ask
Wasn't available. Wasn't available.
He didn't have any. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And then he turned around and told me he'd already had a breakfast, and he said it was stuffed.
Well, if there was a butter pie available, I probably would have had it because Ollie messaged me last night. Ollie messaged me last night, Matt, saying, "Did I have a butter pie?" I said no. And at half time, I wasn't really in the mood to be eating anything. I'd lost my appetite a little bit, Steve, watching that.
I think it was. And it was also trying to make sure Colin didn't go on.
Yeah. Don't worry, we calmed him down.
I reckon he was going to get.
He needed a Zen master. He needed a Zen master.
He did.
Namaste. Okay,
we're going to. You need to be there next time, Matt. You need to be there next time.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, happen again.
The Bayliss B&B is open to you again, Rich, for the Blackburn game. In the comments here, I'm saying.
Well, I have to see because I do actually get back from holiday on. Oh, I've got something. I'll tell you in a minute, Matt. I don't know if you fancy coming to it. So
your holiday, I'm there.
No, not on the holiday. We get back on the Thursday. Blackburn on the Friday, but on the Sunday, the 31st of March, at the O2 Arena in the evening. Do you fancy coming to watch Ipswich's own Fabio Wardley?
Have they announced the date of that?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
He's at the O2 on the 30th. Craig messaged me this morning. Do you fancy going? I'm going to be there.
I've not seen any boxing news.
I
should look this up.
Well,
all right.
All I want to say is that thanks for letting me on. I enjoyed it immensely yesterday.
It was a great day, wasn't it, Steve? It was a great day.
I don't care what you say. I know it's tough for me to get to some games, you know, but you can't beat going to football. You know, and it gets you meeting.
We all wanted the results, Steve. But I had a brilliant weekend. I had a great weekend.
Looked fun. Looked like he's having a great of a time. It's great to see. All right, Steve, we're going to say goodbye. We're going to go to the Netherlands now. We're off to the Netherlands with Frank. Here we go from Northern England. So where are you in the Netherlands, Frank? Are you sort of Amsterdam area?
Yeah, no, actually, it's about 40 minutes by train from Amsterdam. Used to live in Amsterdam, worked in Amsterdam for 30 years, in fact. And but we live in a place called Lelystad, which in 1965 was about 10 meters underwater. It's reclaimed from the sea. Wow. And now it has a population of 80,000 people. On a train, we were in Amsterdam over the weekend, weren't we? On Friday, we were in the Barney Stone, drinking a few Guinness. And
lovely. And you're looking resplendent in orange, as you should be, coming from the
last time I see Frank, I think he was wearing your big coat. It looked quite cold.
Yeah, that's true. It's mild today, thankfully.
Got the heating on.
And even if no, there's no heating on that either. It's just very, very mild. It's a good temperature, I have to say.
What we need, Frank, is we need Frank to become a member of Talking Town, and then Frank can come and join the Discord. This is what we need to happen.
We need people on the Discord, people. There's lots of great chat going on. You can talk to Steve Harry in there. It's great fun.
I'll take a look at that. Something else, we are going to come into it. So I want to find out about invalid toilets. Somebody on the chat must know. Martin was going to get back to me, but he overlooked it because I want to go with my wife, but obviously because of her condition, I have to go with her everywhere. But we want to take in 2 games at the end of April. 10th of April, I think it's a Wednesday.
Frank, if I was you, Lee Smith at the football club.
Lee Smith, yeah.
Right.
He's the guy. If you're on Twitter, he's on there. But you could I think you'd email him, speak to someone at the club. Yeah, I'll do it that way. Go through Lee.
That's a good tip.
Which can put you in contact.
Yeah, we really want to be there and take in a couple of games. And this is the way we did it a couple of years ago. Doncaster, the 6-0. We were there for that. Sheffield Wednesday 1-1.
Lee Evans' finest hour in a town.
It was. He scored a hat-trick, didn't he? He scored a hat-trick that day.
Are you glad to see him go, Frank, or are you not surprised?
Mixed feelings, really. I'm still sad to see Macaulay Bonne go, actually, because that day he scored 2 goals, including wonder strike, and he's an Ipswich fan through and through. But okay, it's probably never going to happen. I'm delighted that Kiefer Moore played yesterday. I think actually it was the right decision that he comes on at half-time, only because they'd not done any training. There was a classic example of Al Hamadi and Kiefer Moore going for the same header. Remember the second goal?
Yes.
And that's because they've never played together. There was no training. There was no coaching in advance. I think half a game, 2 goals, half a game. Great start for him, especially having gone 11 games with Ipswich, mainly as a substitute. In fact, I think they were all substitutes.
All subs, yeah. As was yesterday,
but that was a long time ago now. And
London buses, Kiefer Moore goals, Frank. You wait for 8 years for a Kiefer Moore goal, and then 2 come in one game.
Yeah, and I think it's vitally important. I think that he got off the score sheet straight away, because you let that go as a new striker and it goes 3, 4, 5, 6 games at a vital, crucial period of the season, and then we'd be all worried about when is Kiefer Moore going to score. And then you get the whispers in the crowd, oh, he can't score, this guy can't score, he's the same as he was last. You know how it goes. The fickle nature of the average football fan, as you alluded to earlier on, it's highlighted now when things are going wrong. I'm going to stick my neck out and say that although everyone, just about 90% of the people watching this will be in disagreement, I still think Ipswich have a chance of the automatic promotion spots. And Leeds have played a game more than us. I think when the new players truly bed in, I mean, they haven't yet, obviously, and still Kiefer Moore scored 2 goals. When they truly bed in, then I think we will pick up a lot of points and score a lot of goals. I really see that happening now. Southampton, the law of football averages will tell you it's a record-breaking run they've been on. It's not going to happen next week against Rotherham, I think they're playing, but it will happen sooner or later. And then they'll go through a lean spell. And maybe the same for Leeds. And let's not forget this. Just 1 point off the playoffs at the moment is the N-word. 1 point off the playoff.
Yeah, true.
They beat Coventry 2-1 yesterday. So it's going to go right to the wire, in my opinion. I don't think Ipswich are out of the hunt for an automatic promotion place. But we're all feeling a bit sad because 2 defeats in a row and that horrendous FA Cup defeat has really put the cat amongst the pigeons. But I think when these new players bed in, my friends, I think we'll see a big improvement in town performances home and away. That's what I like to say.
Are you hopeful against West Bromwich Albion, Frank and Rung? Because obviously we didn't lay a glove on them at the Hawthorns, did we?
No, that's true. It was probably, arguably, our worst performance of the whole season, that one. And everyone played badly. I'm a bit concerned about Connor Chaplin because he's really gone off the boil a bit. His passing is abysmal. If he'd been any other player other than Connor Chaplin, we'd all be looking at his performance and saying, drop him. But it's Connor Chaplin. You don't drop somebody who's the top goal scorer. But his passing is really, really poor. And it has been last season and this season. And one of the arguments I made about when he comes to the Championship, he'll have to improve his passing because it's really not good enough. And yesterday, poor performance by Harry Clark, George Edmondson. And let's not forget Wes Burns. He was abysmal yesterday as well. So that new haircut, it's like Hercules, isn't it? The new haircut. And he's lost all his strength. But I have to say, the West Brom game, I'm going for a 3-1 win to Ipswich. I think you really got to start quickly with a couple of early goals. I think they will put massive pressure on the West Bromwich Albion goal from the offset, and that's what you need to do. Get an early goal, the crowd are on your side, and then it's all the way to the final whistle and a 3-1 win for Ipswich. Well, that's how I see it.
Let's hope you're right, Frank. Yeah, so get in touch with Lee Smith. Streaky says there as well. I don't know what it is you need, kind of disability facilities, enhanced.
It's really, no, it's nothing like that. It's just really, I have to take Rung to the WC all the time. He did it entirely, no problem there. But in football grounds, the previous time I didn't need to do that, but now I do. So I have to go with her. So I have to get permission because a guy going in with a woman is a bit.
I'm with you.
If you haven't got permission, so this is why I really need to do that.
Yeah, speak to Lee. Speak to Lee. He'll sort you out.
hopefully we can see you both at the Alf Ramsey statue outside Portman Road. That'd be great.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Good stuff. All right. Take care. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the day.
See you soon.
See you later. Well,
Excellent.
Rich, there we go. Look, we've done an hour and 20. Not too bad. Not quite as lively as last week's show, but still some question marks.
Yeah, but I think we've been quite measured, haven't we? You know,
the second half has made it a little bit more optimistic for people.
Well, you've got to look at the defeats we've had, Matt. You know, we've lost twice to Leeds, come down for the Premier League. We did get beaten up by West Brom, and then we've lost yesterday. Now, I don't think any Town fans would have predicted we'd be 3-0 down at half time. You know, that's where obviously the game was lost in the first half. It doesn't take a genius to work that out. We need to cut out early goals being conceded. Hopefully, score some early goals ourselves. I
don't think we're ever going to cut those out now, Rich, to be honest with you. I think we're so embedded into the season, 2/3 into the season. We just can't seem to eradicate it. And that puts us under pressure, unfortunately, to be able to keep scoring.
But look, we've done well, like we say, 21 points. It won't. Brilliant. If you're 2-0 down at half time, I get what people are saying about the third goal. We could have played out a bit longer and whatever, and you take that away. 2-0, you're still in the game, Matt, because they say, don't they? 2-0 is a funny scoreline in football. Immediately you get that one goal back. You're right back in the game. And at 3-0, like we've already touched on, you literally need everything to go your way. All them little things like the Davis free kick, but it didn't. But we have to look back where this poor run started, you know. Where did it start? We were all there. We were doing the bus welcome. We've all given it the big one against Norwich. And this is where the run started, where we were all deflated after Norwich. We thought it was finally we're going to put to bed. You know, that 14 years we haven't beaten Norwich. And we didn't, and we've been a little bit flat since then. You know, we have. I think we have to realise that's where it probably all started. But we're still in a very good position. But it's vital now with the fixtures that they've got next week, Leeds and Rotherham. That it's 3 points for them.
We need to get 3 points.
And it's quite ironic when you think Town had that lead, didn't we? 10 points. Then it was 7. Then it got eaten away.
Well, it's been eaten away from Norwich, isn't it?
But now we're sitting 2 points behind Southampton. A defeat next week and a Southampton win, suddenly it goes to 5 points the other way, you know. So it's a massive swing. So I think it's a really, really. They're all important games, but I think it's really important that we all get down to Portman Road, we all get behind them. Hopefully, Kofi makes his debut, and we're on the telly again, you know. And
I don't like the 12:30s.
Let's shove a few of these so-called pundits' words down their throat, and let's have a really positive performance and a victory, and let's. If we don't get in the top 2, let's keep the pressure on as long as we can into the season and get into them final 5 games. And then you never know what pressure does to some people, you know.
Yeah.
Let's not go in a whimper, Matt, like we did under McCarthy in 14-15, and we won't be falling down to nearly out the playoffs under McKenna because we've got that big gap, haven't we? We've got that buffer. But it's really important now that we can put 2 or 3 back-to-back wins together just to keep on the coattails of Southampton. And when they do slip up, we need to really be able to take advantage of that. We can't be 5-7 points behind them because I think that will be too much of a gap to make up. But it's not all doom and gloom. If you look at the second half performance there, we were another 5 minutes, we probably get an equaliser. They were hanging on. Ryan Lowe's going mental on the touchline, looking at his watch. But look, Preston got the 3 points. Fair play to them. You know, that's football, and we just move on to the next game.
Absolutely. And that next game is West Bromwich Albion. We will be back on Wednesday, and as Rich said earlier, Chris Hall will be joining us. Football's most opinionated man. He will be joining us Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
Cricket show Tuesday night.
How's
India,
it gone
England?
How's it gone for England today?
Well, so we've bowled them out. England need 399 to win in India. Tough. I think they've only chased 100 twice in Indian conditions. We're 67 for 1 at the end of the play. We've only had 14 overs. England need 332 to win. We've still got 2 days. If England bat for the whole day tomorrow,
got a chance.
We'll win the game. The rate that England score, Matt, we will get them runs. But over there on their wickets, I think even Shubman Gill got 100 today, and he said in his interview after the game, it's probably 70-30 for India. And the only reason it's 30 in England's favour is because how positive we are under McCullum and Stokes. Otherwise, it'd have been out of the question. So I think India will win, but you never know. That little hope could be a bit of history.
And of course, that will take the series to 1-1. So that'll be finally poised going into the third test there. Okay, yeah. So what day's that? Tuesday.
That's Tuesday. I think 8:30. I think Ian Davis is in. Rob's in.
Brilliant.
Looking for one more. I'll be able to round another person up, and then we can.
You got that Tuesday. We'll be back Wednesday. Of course, there's not going to be a talking knockouts because we've lost Fury and Usyk. Don't get me started on that one. Very disappointing.
New date.
Have they floated one out there yet? I've not seen it.
Is it May the 18th? Somewhere around that date in May. Yeah, they said yesterday. I don't know if that's official, but I see it yesterday. So
that's not so bad. That's
there you go.
So bad. Okay then. Well, Fury Usyk not happening for a while. That's disappointing. Yesterday was disappointing, but another week to come for Town, and we'll see you all on Wednesday for the next show. Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down or when I get blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Oh, please lover. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I'm going crazy from just the thought of you.